So here's a couple helpful hints for you while you do this virtual lab. So I hope you got something out of the video, but what the virtual lab will do is hopefully kind of show you how these fish evolved. So when you click on the link from Classroom, it'll then take you to this page. You're going to click on Start Virtual Lab, and they'll give you this screen. Now there's a bunch of resources right here, over here on the side, about the introduction and all that. You can read through that. But the video you kind of watched kind of talks about that as well, so it's coming from that video. The next section is the overview section. This kind of gives you an overview of what the fish is, what the virtual lab does, those kind of things, and it talks about the different experiments. The notebook section you don't really need to worry about too much. It basically kind of tells you what's going to go on. And the progress tab, which is the last tab, this is one of the last tabs. This is the tab that you're going to actually copy and paste from to report what you've done. So let's go ahead and start this. You're going to click down here where it says click to enter the lab. It's then going to say, okay, there's a tutorial, and I've already actually started this, so I'm going to click start over, but you'll just say start tutorial 1. Do the tutorials, and it seems like, oh, you don't need to do tutorials because I could just do it, I'm going to blow through it. But if you don't do the tutorials, you're not going to pick up on things like this, where it talks about what is the difference between complete and reduced pelvic girdles, how do we see these on the screen, and then also what the difference is between each of them. So again, you're going to click on tutorial 1, and it tells you right down here. In tutorial 1, you practice scoring. Click the fish tray to begin. So you do exactly what it tells you. So click the fish tray, it moves the fish to the microscope, and then it gives you these little things. Now, a couple of things I've noticed that that work easier is it gives you both lateral and ventral view. To me, the ventral view a lot of times works way better. So I'm going to flip over to the ventral view. And so the ventral view is just the underside view. So now you can really see these pelvic girdles. So all I want you to do is then say glide over each fish to magnify, use the lateral and ventral view buttons, select the score using the buttons. So you want to say, okay, based on this, right there, is that pelvic girdle there or not? And so this, since it's all there, there's lots of pointies, that's complete. I tell you it's correct or not, and you go through and say, okay, well now we're looking here. Now notice the pointies aren't nearly as present, but they're not completely absent, so we're going to call that reduced. So you go on the next one. You look here. Now let's assume that you're like, oh, that's got to be complete. So you click on complete, and again it shows you that it's incorrect, and you go through the next one. And you say, okay, well now you'll see how there's no red right here. That red's from staining, but that's the pelvic girdle. So because there's no red, then we'll call this absent. So the fish has no pelvis. And you go through the entire tutorial like that. Once you get done with the tutorial, you're going to go down here and go through the whole tutorial. If not, you can always click, if you think you're good, click on Experiment 1, which says Analyze Fish for Lakes. So once you're here, again, there's more information over here on the side. It shows you that there's background information. There's part 1, part 2, part 3, and then the quiz. Now the quiz is basically like, that's the part that I wanted to see you get done, but you have to get part 1, 2, and 3 done before you can do the quiz. The analysis section, don't worry about, not necessarily, you don't have to do that section. So this kind of gives you some background information about what happened, but that again, that's that video you watched before you got here. So you just follow the directions. So it says, click on the blue gloves to get started. All right, let's get started. So you click on the blue gloves. Now it says click on the jar with fish label bear part like. So there you go. Click on that jar, and it says now place the jar on the fish tray. Click the jar to see what the end stage fish look like. So you click on the jar, and again, you're just reading down here on the bottom, and you're just doing what it tells you to do. So if you don't know what to do, then read the bottom. Alright, so click the strainer, and so it's pouring some alcohol into the empty jar, and it's doing this whole step. So I'm not going to go through this entire step, you'll do this. So moving on. Now at this point, you've stained your fish, see what the fish stained like, and it says down here, go to part 2 scoring. So then you click on that. Now it says click on Bear Paw Lake. So this is the part where it kind of gets a little frustrating, but you do have to click directly where that arrow is pointing, so you have to click there. It does that, you load it up, it's just placed in the jars in the fish tray, and you got to process just a little more, so you pour the alcohol off like you did earlier when you're doing the tutorial. You say, okay, down up in the tray, it says, now wait, we got to label this, so you click on the fish label, it's from this section of the lake, you make sure you always label it, and then you throw some fish onto the microscope slide. Now you go through here, and again, there's both a lateral view and a ventral view. I find the ventral view way easier. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to look at these fish. Now these will not tell if you're correct or not. So you have to be very careful. Okay, so again, I don't see large pointy objects here, those pelvic girdles, so I'm going to say that's reduced. I'm going to go through, grab myself another fish. So you clicked on that fish, move to that tray. Done. You look at this one. Alright, so there's no pointy things, you click reduced, and then you just keep on doing it. So click on the microscope, moves over to the right. Keep going. Alright, now we look at this one. Oh, well, there's, I don't see any pointy things, so I'm going to call this absent. Click it over. Now, it says from now on, the steps of selecting and removing fish will be done automatically. So it just now wants you just kind of go through the fish and reduce them. And you notice that over here on the side is telling you what you've scored them as. Okay? So you're going to keep on going through. Okay, well that's, oh, well, wait, there's a little bit of red there, so I'm going to call that reduced. You look at this one, oh, let's say that's complete. And you go through each of these. So I'm going to go through and score each of these. And it's going to be over here. Now, I'm going to skip on to the next section. So you just continue that. So once you get done scoring, you see over here I've got my scoring done. I'm going to go ahead and put the fish back in the jar. So just click on the jar. We put the fish back in the jar. Throw the label back on. Put some more alcohol in it to keep it. Let it do this little thing. And then you put it back on the shelf. Now, we look at Frog Lake. So you do the same thing. You go through and you look at the stained fish for the Frog Lake. So you click on the microscope and we look at it again. Again, you can look at lateral, you can look right down here, or you can look at the ventral. To me, again, I see the ventral is much easier. So I'm going to go through and score all these. Alright, so now we're done scoring. So we're going to go through and it says submit your totals. You have to go through and you count all these and count all those and you submit those over here. So let's say over here on Bear Power Lake, we count up all our completes. I don't see any completes. I see 15 reduced. I don't know, I'm not actually counting these, but you'll need to go through and count all these. And then 5 absent. And then I go through over here and I've got 17 complete, 3 reduced, and 0 absent. So you go through and you add all these up. You put them in the totals. Click submit totals. And then it says follow instructions in the notebook window on how to graph your data. So then it says right here, it says you'll create a bar graph. Click here to read the different types of graphs. But it says if you don't have access to a spreadsheet program, that's the one you want. So you want to do this one right here. It says if you don't have access to a spreadsheet program, click here for an automated version of your graph. So you click right here. It makes a fancy little graph. So you notice here's the complete, reduce, and what this is showing us is that this is what we got right here. So very easily you can see that there's a lot in Frog Lake that are complete and reduced, but in Bear Paw Lake, it's a lot that are reduced or not even there. So this is verify your data. You click on there. All right. So we say, okay, this is what we're saying, and this is what you got. This is what it should be. So we're not too bad. All right. So then it says experiment 1 quiz. So right there, when you're ready to do the quiz, it's going to kind of ask you some questions about what you did. You can click on that. If you need to go back, then sure, go back. So we're going to click on experiment 1 quiz. It's going to have some questions over here. You answer the questions. So questions on the right side, answer the questions on the left side. So you can go through, do your quiz. I'm going to just quickly go through this quiz. Sure. And it'll tell you, alright, if your correction is wrong, you click A, and you say next. And then it says, okay, which one is this? Again, we're going to take a gander. And it tells you why it's wrong. Make sure you do follow that if you do notice it's wrong. Click next. You click submit on that one. You say I disagree. I'm not doing very good at this. So again, make sure you read. Alright. So we are done. So again, this is on a progress tab. You can type your little name right there. But again, all you're going to do at the end of all of this is you're going to copy this and paste it into your document. So let me show you how you do that. So the document you're going to get looks something like this. You just put your name in, student, and then you go back to your work right here. Again, this is after you complete experiment 2. Don't worry about experiment 3. Do experiment 2 though, and quiz 2. So you're just going to copy all this. Here's just tutorial 1, copy all the way down to analysis of experiment 2. Again, you don't have to do analysis, just the quizzes. You're going to copy all this, Control C, Command C on a Mac, and then you're going to paste it, Control V or Command V on a Mac, right here. This is what you're going to turn in. Okay, so you're just going to click in, you're going to turn in, which is tutorial 1, 2, experiment 1, experiment 2. Up here on the top, it will normally say turn in. You click on there, and you are done. That's helpful, and good luck.